Hey, I'm Nick, and I'm from Tribe of Pazuzu, and you're listening to Brutally Delicious.
Hey, there you are. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Where are you located? You guys up in Canada?
Yeah.
What part?
Toronto.
Oh, okay, nice. My partner's from Toronto. He couldn't make it today, but he lives up there as well.
Right on.
Nice.
Get some of the stuff out of the way here.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for doing this.
So let's talk about Tribe of Pazuzu. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
I was worried I was going to butcher it. I don't even know where to start with this, except that Blasphemous Prophecies is heavy as fuck.
Awesome.
I'm loving it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been jamming that all morning. What's it been like? What's been the response to it so far?
Still a little early, actually. I've seen just only one review. Actually, a couple of just small, quick reviews. Basically, just on the one single. So I haven't heard too much feedback yet. So I'm kind of excited to see what everyone's thinking.
It's I mean, it's heavy as hell, but it's also got a pretty heavy message as well.
Oh yeah.
I would think, right? It's pretty much the times, I believe, right? Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but it's very. I was envisioning the times that we're living in as I'm reading the lyric video.
Right, sure, yeah, for sure. I see that. I guess that's just one of those things. I was thinking more of like thinking Nostradamus and thinking of like prophecies and stuff like that of like for the lyrics and stuff like that, and it does tie in with what's going on. Like it's everyone's very unsure of what's going on and what's going to happen,
right. And everybody's got their own predictions, and everybody's wrong, and right. That's interesting about music, right? So you write a song, and you've got one thing in mind, but when it gets out there to people wherever in their houses in India, it takes on a whole new meaning, right?
Right. True. Yeah. I did see one person comment on the video saying how the lyrics could be almost interpreted as like a Christian song, and I didn't think about that until he mentioned that, and it's just like it doesn't really go one way or the other, or just
so like the Book of Revelations
kind of a little bit. Sorry.
So like a Book of Revelations kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So when you guys are writing, are you guys able to write together? Are you guys all writing, in the same room? Or are you bouncing things back and forth, or is it mostly just you and your partner there?
Yeah, it's just me in my home studio. I just writing usually late at night after work. Coming up with stuff and just piecing it all together, and then I present it to everybody, in the band who's going to work on it, and we just go from there. And so I haven't really written with anybody at all.
Oh, really? So you just do it all?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice. And then you just email the parts, or do you eventually get to jamming it together in a room?
We have never jammed in a room together ever. I've jammed with Randy a couple times, only to just to go over everything. Like I send him all the tabs and stuff.
Right.
And then we just there's little finer points that I'd like to go over, so I got him to come down and we go over that stuff. And it's only usually one meeting that we have, and then we're off to Montreal, so to record the album. Yeah.
Nice. So I saw you have a bunch of guest appearances on the record.
Yeah, we have a couple. Yeah. Sorry.
How did those come about? Are you friends with those people, or did you just?
Yeah, definitely. I've known both those guys for, like Luc and Jorgen from at least from 89, 90, 91, from, playing shows and, just knowing these guys in the scene and playing shows with them and everything, and crossing paths quite a few times. So when it came to do the album, I was talking with Christian, who was producing the album, we were at his place, and we were talking about the Gorguts album, the Colored Sands, and just how amazing it was. Just like it's one of those albums just blew us away. And we were talking about that, and I mentioned to him that I tried to get Luc for a previous EP to do some backups, but it was a little bit lost in translation because I was dealing with the guy who runs their Facebook page, and he had to send the message to Luc, and he's incredibly busy these days. And it was very short notice too for the last EP, so it just kind of happened. It didn't really come about. So I talked to Christian this time. We're just kind of throwing it around, just like just mentioning it, and then he goes, "Oh, you want to get Luc?" And then he's just like, just calls him up, and he's like, "Hey, I got Nick here," and he's like, "Oh, fuck, I love Nick. I would love to do something with him." I'm just like, wow. He's like, he was very had a lot of praise, and it was just like, it's been a while since I talked to him because he's been really busy and just different paths over the years. But it's just good to hear that these guys are still holding in high regard our friendship and our work together, and the work that we do. And they were, no matter how busy they were incredibly forthcoming on just working on this with me, and I was really happy about that and excited about that. And Jorgen was the same way too. He was very busy, and he just said, "Yeah, for you, anything, no problem. I'd love to do it. Because I guested on a Torture Division song like 10 years ago."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he wanted me to. Jorgen wanted me to sing on it, and so I did a track, and then he put a pitch shifter on it. Like, I didn't get to do all that stuff, so he kind of changed it over there what he was doing, and it was really cool just to be on one of their albums, one of their recordings. It was just, so I kind of wanted to return the favor. Plus, it was something I was always thinking about too. But I love Jorgen's vocals, and I wanted to get him on a song too. So.
Right. I think what's really interesting about the metal community, or even just the heavy music community, is it's sort of like a family, right? I mean, everybody kind of, you're busy, like you said, you miss Pats, but you still can connect and do that sort of thing. And I don't know that you find that in any other genre.
Right, sure. Yeah, it seems that way because, it's very niche-y what we're doing, extreme music. It's not for everyone. And, the fact 30 years later we could sit here and just like I could contact these guys, and they're just like, yeah, for sure, man, I'd love to do it, and it's just, I don't want to get sappy, but really, touches you,
Yeah,
like, wow, these guys, the solid guys, and I appreciate that they helped me out on this,
That's great. You ever imagine you'd be doing this? You just said 30 years. You ever imagine you'd be doing this 30 years later?
It's funny because, like, when you're in your teens, even though you think you're unstoppable and you got the world, like right there at your feet and everything, you still think like ahead, like, oh, I'm not going to probably do this when I'm 50 years old. And you see other people saying this too. Like, I mean, even like, I think I even seen Mick Jagger say the same thing,
right?
Like way back, and he's still doing it, right? So I probably I stepped back a few times in the scene, over the years, and creating music and stuff like that, because it does take its toll. It's like it's not a easy thing to do, and to push it and to market it and to play shows. It's very grueling, task to get out there, right? Especially if you're all DIY too.
Yes.
So you think like sometimes oh yeah, I'll be by 50, oh man, right, and then you turn 50 and you're like, holy shit, I got this fire going on. I want to do all this stuff I haven't even got to, and the last 10 years kind of went by so fast. So it's just like. So, and that's why I got like 2 bands now, because I'm just kind of like making up for lost time almost, so it's as long as I can keep them under control, it's everything's okay. So, but different writing styles too. So it's like, I'm kind of like re-energized at this point, like at 50, like.
That's great.
Yeah.
So do you find that writing heavy music like this is cathartic for you?
Kind of. I mean, I don't. I never really look at it as that kind of outlet. But I mean, like, I just like to create music, and it's never like the style. Just creating the music. That process is cathartic to me. It doesn't have to be like really like heavy or extreme or anything like that. But the fact that those are the bands that I'm doing now is heavy and extreme, and like that's kind of where I'm sitting with the music style. So I'm happy with it, and I don't. It's just the process is cathartic, like the.
Right, because I know as a listener, it totally is. You know, you put on
Oh, for sure.
your favorite Machine Head record or whatever it is, and you're like, you can completely vent from the day driving home from work or do whatever. But I was just curious from the artist perspective if you find it, you know, funneling all of that frustration from the day or the week or anything into it.
Yeah. I guess that would come into like riffs and stuff like that, and then like, but when you package it as a whole and arrange it, I mean, it doesn't really seem like just the heaviness of it is the cathartic aspect of it when you're writing. But like it does happen, like when you're writing a riff, you'll be inspired by something or just like angry or whatever. You're like, oh, and you get down there and you'll make some riffs, and so that's the cathartic part right there for sure. And then, like you said, listening to music is like that's why I love listening to this stuff loud and heavy music, and that's the cathartic thing at all, right there. Just like just sitting back driving and
yep. So here I am, in my 50s as well, and my wife doesn't get it because she's not really a music fan. But yeah, 55 still listening, in the car.
Yeah.
As it goes and finishing the song in the driveway, and she'll call from the living room and say, "Hey, I can't even hear the TV."
Yeah,
so loud. You don't understand.
No, actually, I have been with some partners, some girls who don't get the music thing sometimes, and that's like a really frustrating thing, because I'm always listening to music. I'm always got in the car like music or whatever I'm doing. So it's like it's just one of those things that's always been part of my life, and I'm always humming songs, and like even if nothing's on, so it's just like it's always there. And so like to have someone with me that's doesn't get that part is just this is weird, like.
So everyone's got I guess a story or a story of when they first got into heavy music, when it first caught them. Like, so for me, I remember like a record store when I was in junior high school, and Diary of a Madman was on the shelf, and I picked it up, and it caught me, bit me, and then the journey began from there. What was yours?
I guess it goes a little bit further back, like around 9 years old or so. I remember, like we always used to listen to the, radio in my mom's car, AM or whatever it was, and the, music, you start hearing it. And then I remember my mom bought me, like around 8 or 9 years old, she bought me like a tape deck with AM, FM in it. And I started taping songs off the radio all the time, and I remember going to, some shopping place or whatever, and then they had records there. And one of the first albums I picked up was Kiss Dynasty. You know what I mean? You see the face on the cover. I was like, oh, wow. But I already knew Kiss at the time. So I was just like, I got to get this.
Right.
And so I was like, that's when it kind of really started. And, listening to the radio, like AC/DC, Rush, Pink Floyd, whatever else was on the radio at like, 79,
Right.
So it started from there. And then, it always was into rock. Like I was saying, like, listening to AC/DC on the radio and stuff. And it just goes from there to like, we got into like heavier stuff. Like you start finding stuff like, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and Exciter, like it just started getting heavier and heavier.
Heavier and heavier, right.
And I think, it still hasn't really ended. I mean, like now, like I'm listening to like, stuff like Nocturnal Graves and, and it's just, it's like fast and brutal and just the, the progression is right there. Like, but.
Fair enough. So, are you planning on taking Tribe of Pazuzu out on the road?
Yeah, I would love to. I keep trying to do stuff, but having a band with like professional superstar players and it's like hard to get it out there and do my thing, right? I mean, because like these guys are so busy, so
right.
And I don't even know the level to expect out there either. So like I don't want call up Flo and we got a show and then we're playing a like little dinky place, right? I mean, like I know he would probably expect more of a level of quality and professionalism, on his end, and I don't even know exactly what he would need. Like I'm trying to touch base with him now about like what his specifications are for playing live, because I'm trying to set something up for this summer. It's still proving a little difficult, so it's definitely something I want to do. It's just got to do the timing of it, so
on top of what you're saying, getting the musicians organized, I also think it's probably a little tough out there because everyone is playing now, right? The floodgates opened up in the pandemic, and it's everyone. Everyone,
a lot of people use that time to get their stuff in order.
Yes,
and then as soon as it was over, everyone was ready to go.
Right, like, but that floods the market, and fans only have a certain amount of cash, right?
Right, true. And there's a lot of package tours going through. I see, like, like a lot of these big bands, they're all touring, and they're selling their shirts like $50, and it's like it's quite the scene out there. But I don't know. I think what we're doing is still niche enough that in that scene that we can still go out and do it, that it won't affect other tours. I don't think we're gonna, Amon and Marth is gonna like affect what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of different, and but I don't know. We're not at that level either. You know what I mean? Look, we haven't done the touring circuit, so it's like starting from scratch. But it's just, I mean, there's still a market for like underground shows for sure. Like, I don't think that's going away.
No.
I'm happy that it's all back, and it's great playing shows again. I love it.
Yeah.
Like I've been playing with my other band, so which is called Nihilist Death Cult. And so we've been playing with that, and the show's been great, and it's just great to get back to everything. So slowly and surely we'll get some tribe stuff going, but it just got to be placed right,
Right. Are you planning on following the new business model of like releasing a single every 6 weeks or something like that with a video, or is it?
No, we still stick to I mean, like up until now, I just had the idea to do the EPs. And that's how the first 2 EPs came about. And it was going to be 3 EPs in a row. But after the second one got a little bit of traction, we were like, should we waste the time doing another EP? And the fans want an album. So it's just like, okay, well, let's do an album this time around. And that's because also there's still some kind of like, not discrepancy, but like some people still put EPs and albums in different categories, and like, album of the year, and you got an EP, and so it's like, oh well, tough luck, Eddie. Tough luck there. So it's like, and I think that business model is probably like going to be fading soon. Like but I hear people saying that all the time, like about the full length album, because I don't think even people have the attention span sometimes. You know,
we talk about that a lot on the show. I mean, people like my son's age, they have the 3-minute attention span and then listen to like 30 seconds of that 3-minute song. But, there are people like me who still, I'm still the vinyl guy, or you can't say it, yes, but I'm still the vinyl guy. I'm listening to Van Halen 2 here, and, I love the way it was sequenced and made, and, it's a process.
Yeah. Even the track listings are, thought out, like, side A, side B, what's going to start side B, what's going to end the album. You still think like that when you track an album. But I just think that when you got Spotify and people just have random and just hearing one song here and there, like it changes the vibe a little bit, and it just becomes something else. And I don't think people are, always checking out a whole album.
No. So as an artist, then, is that something you're aware of when you're putting together a record?
To a certain extent. I try to keep it interesting throughout the album, like the way we sequence it. But it doesn't affect the writing at all, because I always put the strongest songs to go forward. You know what I mean? Like if there was 10 songs, and the last 2 got dropped a little bit just because they were not as strong as the other ones, and we wanted to just kind of do everything, just have it I'm a loss for words a little early there for me, so I'll have some hand gestures to help you understand.
No, that's all good. That brings me to the end of my questions. Did I miss anything you wanted to cover?
No, not really. I mean, I think that was pretty much everything. It's is there something else you wanted to ask, or
no? I think we've covered them. I enjoyed just kind of
that's pretty good.
I like just talking and going, and seeing where it ends up. So I know we didn't stay on Tribe the whole time, but
for sure. I don't know what else to add to anything.
Are you guys pretty active social media wise, or is that?
Yeah. And actually, it was pointed out because I have, like I said, I have the other band called Nihilist Death Cult.
Right.
And the slogan we use on some social media is "Make metal hate again." So it just is a very angry, hardcore punk kind of thing with metal influences, death metal, and everything. But I find there's a lot of anger is missing from music, and I don't mean anger as in like or hate as in like any kind of weird social thing or whatever. It's more like just like an energy. Like there's a lot of things you can hate without crossing over into these like, racism or whatever. Like people try to, pigeonhole you into these things because you use the word hate, and it's like, well, no, that's not what we're saying at all. We're trying to say that the music needs an urgency. It needs an anger about it. It doesn't. You're playing metal. It's always 110%. It's not like you're playing it at 80% ever. Like it's like every musician that I play with is has to be at that level. Otherwise, you're not going to get the point across. You know what I mean? Right. So the way the brutality is of the musicianship is the same way that we like the music to be, and it needs that anger behind it to kind of drive the point home. Otherwise, you're just playing like radio rock or radio metal, I guess. It just doesn't have the same kind of feel, So that's part of it. Like I would try to keep that in the music, and so and one guy pointed out that these guys for a band called Nihilist Death Cult, they have a lot of social media going on, and it's just like which is funny, but it's all free. So it's just like I take advantage of all the social media I can. It's just like there's being a DIY band, you have no other recourse really. So you got to take what's available to you and kind of use it to your advantage. So that's what I try to do.
And I sort of liken that to the old tape trading sort of stuff, right? It's still that weird little underground network of getting your stuff out there and staying.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it has that thing because, like, I do share bands and music that aren't mine all the time. Like, everything that's new that I like coming out, and I'd like to push stuff. And like, hey, this is new. Check this out. These guys got a new album.
Right.
So I always like to do that, and I'm not trading anything, but I'm like to share. And I'm
right. But I mean, it kind of reminds me of that. That same sort of, we're not trading tapes, but you're trading digital files and
yeah. Like I'm
turning
still
everybody on to different stuff.
Yeah, I'm still pushing bands and like promoting like stuff, and hey, check this out, and so it's a lot of fun that way, and it is. I do see very similar to that, like that kind of aspect, the trade tradings kind of stuff. All right, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, good luck with the record. Be well.
All right, thanks. You too.
Cheers, my friend.
Have a good one.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together, we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.